All right, Stochastic, here we go. It's your old pal Emac, just making sure that the feed went live because sometimes it doesn't, and that would be my fault. And now that I've jinxed it, let me see if it's over here on YouTube. It is on YouTube. I'm joined by Chris Spags here. We've got a little fun here on Saturday, slightly later than normal slate. 7:30 tip-off, 5 games on DraftKings, 7 on FanDuel, and of course we have an 8 o'clock tip-off for those of you that care about what's going to happen in the NFC top seed here. Chris, do you have any loyalties for the football game tonight?
No, I just hope everybody out there has fun at this point. I feel like anything that's not Drake May related, I'm pretty unbiased because I think it's a pretty level playoff playing field for the most part. And I haven't really done a lot of playoff best ball either. So I have no financial investment on how that goes. But I'm curious to see. It's funny that like the competitive games are today because tomorrow it's like a total trash slate. And then you have the Sunday night game matters. So weird way that's segmented, but yeah, good to have some competition, I guess, for NFL games that matter here in this day of NBA that we're covering.
Indeed. And not so weird actually, because by the time the networks are done drafting the games that they want to show, obviously all that's left is the rift raft there. But I had not realized 2020 was the first year that they started doing they went away from the all Sunday slate to put 2 games in on Saturday. And they've always flexed the night slate or the Sunday night football. They've done that for, God, almost since the advent of Sunday night football, but for a good 20 years. So that is one, sometimes it throws people because you just see all the flex. And it caught me off guard too, because I'm like, they don't do Saturday games. And I'm like, I told Greg, yeah, it's going to be great. Just one show for football. And then I was like, oh, sorry, we have Saturday. I didn't realize. And that's why I went back and looked. I'm like, 5 years ago, man, the pandemic melted my brain. That's all that's happened. But we're just collecting people. Don't worry, no panic. We're just getting some more people in. I know a lot of people are going to be watching NFL, so we'll probably have about 700-800 people by the time all is said and done watching us tonight. Again, 5 games going over there on FanDuel. We have 5 on DraftKings, 7 on FanDuel, 8 on the secret side. If you're playing over there on Yahoo, their main contest locked, but of course they don't put main contests against primetime NFL, so screw the secret side. I'm looking at injuries here. There are quite a few of them, actually. So Luke Kennard is out. Trae Young is out. That is for the Atlanta in Toronto game. Kristaps Porzingis dealing with that illness. They're going to be bringing him along slowly. We got word that RJ Barrett is going to play somewhere in the mid-20s for minutes. That's what he has done as he has been working his way back from the latest injury. Jakob Poeltl is still out. New York's still going to be without Josh Hart, Landry Shamet. Karl Anthony Towns missed the last one, still questionable with an illness. Hopefully we should have that since that tips off in our first wave of games on the main contest. And then Mitchell Robinson is off the injury report after he missed the last game. Portland and San Antonio, we've got obviously no Victor Wembanyama. Robert Williams is out for injury maintenance. Jeremy Grant and Jrue Holiday remain out from their respective injuries. Charlotte and Chicago, I think everybody's out at this point for both sides. It feels like no Josh Giddey, no Kobe White, no Zach Collins. That's the key Chicago players. Charlotte, no Diabate or Kalkbrenner, and this is a back-to-back here for Charlotte. They lost by 1 to Milwaukee yesterday. If I remember correctly, LaMelo Ball, I think he played in all 4 quarters, but I think he only played like 26 minutes. Spags, this is the second time he's had a chance to play on a back-to-back. In the last one, he kind of played, if I remember correctly, it was mid-20s minutes in both. I looked at that earlier today, but for those wondering if he's going to be a surprise scratch, it does not appear to be, but I would not expect anything more than 25 or 26 minutes. And then, hey, D'Angelo Russell's available if the team wants him to play. That remains to be seen. And then no Steven Adams, but Clint Capella's back. So I guess we have fun there in our later games on DraftKings. What else do we have? Jimmy Butler's questionable with an illness. Steph Curry questionable. They both missed yesterday. Draymond Green is playing. He missed yesterday. Jonathan Kuminga questionable as to whether he'll ever play again as a Golden State Warrior. Who knows? And that's about it. were you surprised that Kuminga had a sore back yesterday when they could have really used him?
I mean, I'm not surprised by anything with that situation at this point. It does feel kind of like your classic injury gamesmanship that you get in the NBA and the NFL a good amount. I feel like you don't get it in baseball quite as much for whatever reason, or hockey. Hockey, they just want to play. But I think for, how it looks for that situation, I think they just need to get rid of him and trade him somewhere. I mean, they should have done that. Should have not tried to bring him back in the first place. He didn't want to be there. But, the free agent market also wasn't there because nobody had cap room. So kind of a tough no man's land situation, but it's sad because I think he's got some talent. I don't think he's like a world beater or anything, but he does deserve a chance to be somewhere that's actually going to play him because he's a young, talented guy, and you always want those guys to play.
Who is the I say who is the crazy guy? That narrows it down. Who is the crazy guy for Cleveland? Okay, that narrows it down even less. Waiters. Remember Waiters? Like he's a guy where you're like, yeah, whatever. You're being a dumbass. Latrell Sprewell, all the talent in the world, but the proverbial 10-cent head being a dumbass. It's like Kuminga just doesn't seem to be in the right spot because he helped them win that title. 4 or 5 years ago now, when it was, and he was a key player in that. Now he can't even. It's just weird. It's just odd. You think Steve Kerr's losing his fastball?
I mean, I think it's just tough when you have an aging team and they definitely, can't really defend the rim at this point. And Draymond, not sure if he's as much of a positive. I don't follow the advanced stuff for guys like Draymond as much as our guy Josh Engelman does. So I can't tell you his win shares or anything like that. But it does feel just based on watching enough of them, seeing enough of the data around them. It just feels like they don't have the guys right now. But I don't know how they get away from that either. And they get rid of Butler for somebody they apparently don't want to get rid of Draymond, or as they've said they're not going to. So then how do you make that work if you're going to try to acquire an Anthony Davis, and does he really solve it? If he could stay healthy, I guess maybe. But they're kind of in no man's land right now, running out Steph's string, I guess, until he's not going to ask his way out. So he'll probably be one of those guys that withers away, what Chris Paul was dreaming of this year for the Clippers.
Yeah. So weird. All right, let's get this show on the road. One quick thing I'm going to show you guys here. We've got Tails. They are the presenting sponsor of the show. Look, you can follow me at Tails. And what is this? A breakdown with the entire player pool rank for tonight's Saturday night football. If you guys want to follow me, or you can filter by me, you can just scroll down here and see. I have to write everything in modular format, but it's all there with hyperlinks. A lot of fun. Did the entire 2-game slate as well, and we'll be doing NBA when it's not going up against NFL. Check that out. You can find everybody here. We have over 200 contributors here. You can sort things by the leaderboard. You can see who are the popular followers, who's on a good winning streak. Oh, who's that guy over there? Looks like that Emac character's on that again. Ooh. But yeah, I got to take that while I can, Chris. I don't do too many bets, so I gotta enjoy that little moment while I'm there. But check that out, guys. We have tons of great content, premium as well as free. Over 200 free bets or DFS articles are going up here every single day. So check that out. That is tails.bet. Okay, back to the fun here, Chris. I'm going to hand this over to you. We'll focus on DraftKings for a little bit here, since that has the biggest contests, the 5-game slate. Denny Avdia, Trey Jones at either end of the pricing spectrum here. What do you like from our guards on DraftKings?
Yeah, I think for the guards overall, the guys I would say that stand out, and you want to start with point guard, or do you just want to go guard overall?
They overlap so much. Feel free to meander back and forth.
I mean, I think, for a guy that is point guard only, Denny Avdia, I would say stands out the most. Obviously, one of your highest priced options here, but he is a guy that, produces around 1.3 fantasy points per minute. We do have Jeremy Grant off the court, Drew Holiday off the court, still no Scoot Henderson for this team. So the spot today for Denny Avdia going against the Spurs, not a bad total for Portland either, and, get a more consolidated offense for him. I think for Denny Avdia, he and both Jalen Johnson, these guys were on the slate. I feel like I get them every single time out when they're this 9K range, because when their teams are sort of depleted, they just do more. They get more rebounds, more assists. As for Avdia, I think at point guard, he'd be the first guy I would look at. But the field's at 36% before the show. There has been an update, but the sim I got before the show, I got them at 66% ownership. So for me, Avdia looks like a core play. And Emac, I feel like on this slate, there's no real pay up options. I think, he and Jalen Johnson, to me, you're runaway 1-2, even though the field's going to be there exponentially.
Yeah, it's here. We'll unfilter, or we'll just go back to all positions. But yeah, you're right. Where it's like, where are we going to spend the money? Jalen, maybe we go to Maxey. Davis hard to trust, and Şengün a little iffy, a little dinged up, and all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, Abdia and Jalen Johnson, like it was. That wasn't just last night. They were both on the same slate. I think it was during the week they were each on. Like Thursday or Wednesday. They all run together at this point. But they've been two players that have made an impressive leap. Both are up across the board on pretty much every meaningful statistical category, and they are worth their upper nines or low five-figure salaries in Jalen Johnson's case. So they look like they're going to be our spend options tonight. Back to just focusing on the guard here. What do you like from let's look at a fantasy point per dollar perspective here. Look at that. Even Denny's still popping up there from a point per dollar. That's just crazy. Dylan Harper may or may not play the fourth quarter. Are you interested in him? Miles McBride, Emmanuel Quickly. What else do we have kind of in the mid tier? Brandon Williams off the bench. What do you got for us?
Also, just Emac, I don't know if you mean to be sharing your screen or not, but there is no screen share going on, just in case. Because I feel like you're looking as though you're presenting a screen. But yeah, for the rest of the point guard for me, it is, to me, Denny Avdia, definitely my highest exposure guy at point guard. Quickly is another one I'm getting a good amount of at 6,500 going against Atlanta. RJ Barrett, minutes limited, no Pirtle. The price tag for Quickly is still looking good. Think that he stands out as a guy that I want to get above the field on, not a crazy amount, but the field's at about 17%. I'm going to be closer to 25. Trey Jones, I think a player that yesterday seemingly, mostly disappointing on that slate, especially with, so many good value guys. Thought Trey Jones, in a different slate would have really stood out more. For today, he looks like he's going to be 37% owned facing Charlotte. I mean, he's been a guy that's putting up about 1 fantasy point per minute. When you take off Josh Giddey and Kobe White to, ball dominant guards, you have Trey Jones putting up about 10 assists per 100 possessions, those guys off the court. So he should, I think, play better than he did yesterday, but definitely the ownership is already there. Fields at 37. I was getting about 32, so not too far off. Dylan Harper, you get a pretty big uptick for him, for De'Aaron Fox, for Stephon Castle, because of the fact that you have no Wembanyama out there, no Devin Vassell as well. So two guys that contribute a good amount of usage to that first unit group. Harper will be fine off the bench, but it really does benefit Fox and Castle the most. Those guys are priced up, unfortunately. So I still like Castle a good amount. I still like Fox a good amount. But really, Fox only at 15% for me, Fields at 12. It kind of feels like it's a good matchup versus Portland, but those guys are priced where they should be. And Brandon Williams, Emac mentioned as well. I'm getting him at 25%. The Fields at 10. I think that he looks like a decent play. Obviously, anybody facing Houston, you're not super stoked about, but D'Angelo Russell just not being super involved in the rotation. Williams being a guy that's minutes are somewhat stabilized at around mid 20s, let's say more like low 20s, but low to mid, and sometimes can play in a little more upside there. I think Brandon Williams, decent semi value at 4,600 on a slate where right now I don't think we have crazy value. We're kind of flocking to.
All right. Thank you for the heads up on the technology. I see Chad is keeping score. Technology has bested me once again. That just is the way it is. I did drop in, per request, the FanDuel contest for tonight. This is the guerrilla marketing that I do. If you win this FanDuel 3 max 100-person $2 contest, it must filter run. If you win that with a stochastic avatar and you tweet at me per the Stochastic Hall of Fame guidelines, so let me drop those into chat as well, I will get you 1 free month of either NFL or NBA, 1 free week of all access NBA or NFL, your choice. Pretty good deal. I'm doubling first prize. So 1 in 100 chance. Well, technically 1 in 33 chance if you enter it 3 times. Not a bad way to go, Spags.
Very generous of the spirit.
I am nothing if not magnanimous. All right. Back to, did I win? Damn it, no, technology got me. How does that happen? Unreal.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. That's the real thing. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're back.
People don't want to see us in full screen. On Saturday especially, it's like a haunting to see us both in full screen.
This is like you get a break from Luka only to have to deal with this 3-year-old over here. So.
Oh yeah, Benjamin Button 3-year-old.
Good times. Oh boy. All right, thank you. Yes, 2-1. Technology has the lead. God, just the way it goes. All right, but back here, let's look at our little the leverage here. See if there's anything popping in the boom bust. Miles McBride has a nice one here. Brandon Williams. Sorry, I was attacking other things, so I didn't see what you have to say. Did you cover Williams much? Because I have a couple thoughts on him.
Brandon Williams, the last one I left off on. I'm getting a little bit more over 2x the field on him, but definitely minutes aren't super guaranteed. Matchup versus Houston's not great, but he looks like a decent value on a slate where we don't have a lot.
Yeah, and he more or less, he and Nembhard basically each are guaranteed for about 18 to 20 minutes, and then those other 8 to 10 are kind of up for grabs. Williams is the better scorer, and he tends to close over Nembhard. Nembhard is the better passer, but his offense disappears. Like he has games where he goes 0 for 6, 1 for 7, 2 for 5. His offense just isn't there. His potential assists and his assists are very, very good. He's just kind of a one trick pony here. Whereas Williams is a good scorer, on defense, and he's an okay ball handler as long as there's somebody else out there. But when they need another score, to help sort of spread the floor, and if they've got Najee Marshall out there and Flag out there, etc., there's enough secondary ball handlers that it doesn't slow down the offense that much. But that's sort of his path to victory is a closer game, and Nembhard's shots not falling, and Nembhard's shots have not been falling for like 5 or 6 games now. So that's less of a trend and more of a permanent thing, it looks like, at least for this point in his career. Let's hit shooting guards here and see if anybody else pops up that did not make our discussion. We've got Julian Champagny in there. We've got Con Knippel. I keep wanting to call him Con Knippel. Sexton, Charlotte's on a back-to-back, but they get that great matchup there against Chicago. That's going to be a real barn burner. What do you think from anybody we didn't hit on here for shooting guard? Steph Castle, Kevin Huerter, Vit Krejci. Now that actually Vit Krejci is kind of interesting with both Young and Kennard out.
Yeah, Stephon Castle, I think, is a really interesting player. He was a guy that I was actually had as my nuke of the night yesterday, and I think he paid off. So I'm very excited for that to come through because, it's always tough to follow up. Guys like Eric Lindquist are so good at that game after doing it for so many slates for years now. But Stephon Castle, again, a little bit more expensive at 7,800, but I have him at about a 42 projection and change, and that gives me him about 30% of my lineups with him, which is not a big stand. The field's at 20, but I do think he is a good play again. The rate's really about 1.2 fantasy points per minute with Wemby and Vassell off the court. And he's due to shoot better with those guys off as well. He's only got about 48% true shooting. But he's about a league average shooter. And I wish he shot a little bit better. If he were like a lights out 3-point shooter, he would be my favorite player in fantasy. But for this year, he's one of those guys that a lot, pops up in my data when you have really one Spur out, but let alone, 2 high usage Spurs. He creates assists. If you watch the Spurs game, really he's a guy often attacking the rim, either creating his own shot or shots for other guys. He is a really big part of that offense, and going against Portland seems like a competitive enough spot. I think it's a good game for him. So he's the one that I'm the most intrigued by. Trey Jones, we talked about already. I'm getting him a good amount, whether it's at point guard or shooting guard, about a third of my lineups, about a third of the field as well. Kevin Huerter is shooting guard and not point guard. So he's a guy that you're going to get more at this position because you can play him here. But I got him at 34%. The field's at 22. Really, all the Bulls overall become about 1 fantasy point per minute guys when you take off Josh Giddey, when you take off Kobe White. The stats sort of evenly distribute amongst all of them, or at least so far this year, that's how it's worked out. For Kevin Huerter, he'll be playing in stochastic data about 27 minutes. That's enough to get there for guys 5,100 on a slate where we don't really have a lot of value. But shooting guard, I would say not super awesome on the slate. A lot of guys I have 10 to 15% of here. Dylan Harper, he's a little bit chalkier for the field, 25%. I'm getting 15. Colin Sexton, about 10 for me, 10 for the field. McBride getting 15, 7. It's just kind of ugly, Mac. I feel like these spots today, like shooting guard, like you mentioned, there's a lot of overlap with point guard, but Castle's the only guy I think is like a fun play. Everybody else is like, you get a little bit fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. And John C., you know what? You're correct. I probably am a little too harsh there on Nembhard. He does have a 54% effective field goal rate, and his numbers aren't that bad. It's just that he takes so few shots per game that when he misses them all, it just stands out and guts you. When you're like, this is the time I'm going to play him. And it's just infuriating. But you are correct. I was probably a little too harsh. So, mea culpa. I'll say it when I'm wrong. All right. Small forwards here, Spags. Few names we haven't talked about. Brandon Miller, always willing to launch the three-pointers. Tumani Kamara has been hitting some three-pointers lately. Gets his usual run of blocks and steals. Makes him fun to play over there on FanDuel, where those are worth 3-point fantasy points a piece. Those are the guys that are kind of popping for me. Probably Ayo Dosunmu, just because he's going to get a little bit more time kind of helping facilitate the offense there with Trey Jones. What are you seeing here as we move to the wings?
Real fast. I feel like that guy just duped you, the John C. guy. That's not accurate. Nembhard shooting 43.5% from the floor, 36% from three, 55% true shooting. He's under league average. League average is 58% and change. He made up numbers. That's not... So they're not updated. I'm defending you, Emac, for your slander because, I'm always going to support anybody that's going to trash a player. And I think Nembhard's actually, decent. But if we're talking about Andrew Nembhard, maybe talk about Ryan Nembhard. You were talking Andrew.
No, Ryan.
Oh, well, never mind. Then you're wrong.
Dallas Nembhard.
Oh, because I think you had said Andrew at some point. And I'm like, yeah, fuck Andrew Nembhard.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It probably slipped. Hey, Nembhard's playing as Naismith's back, but they're not on the slate.
Oh, you're like, I literally hopped into my player search tool because I have a thing to like quickly access data. But yeah, that's okay. That's it. But you definitely at one point said Andrew, and Andrew's been on my brain. I'm like, why are these guys debating a player that's not on the slate? But it's instead been a different debate that I could hate you both equally for bringing me into, and now making me wrong.
He just called me a genius though, so this is good. We're all good, John C. We're on the same page. You called me a genius. That warms my heart.
Oh, you monsters. Anyway, small forward, yeah. Brandon Miller, I get why the field's there. Field's at 23%. Price tag's not too bad. Facing Chicago as well. Never a bad spot given their high pace and the fact the defense is not very good. But Miller, 23% ownership for the field. I'm getting 16. Really, I don't think the price tag works super well, in lineups for me, but I do have him projected well for just shy of 37 fantasy points. So I think Brandon Miller, I don't have a real argument against that. Cooper Flagg, not really getting to. Mikal Bridges, I think if Cat's out, I could see getting there a little bit more. Alexander Walker, despite having no Trey, despite having no Porzingis, just hard to get to Alexander Walker with how much Jalen Johnson absorbs. Tari Eason, I think, is the one at small forward, who I would say, and he's, power forward as well. I think he stands out the most to me as a guy that does seem to gain a little bit of upside for having Steven Adams off the court, a little bit of usage, a little bit of assist upside. I'd assume probably a little bit of rebounding too. But the minutes have been there for him, pretty well. He's been around that 25-minute mark they say he's limited to. People are uncomfortable with that. I think that keeps the ownership in check for him. But I got him in about half my lineups. Eason, I feel like, has not really been the issue in any slate that he's been on lately with his minutes being limited. So I think Eason at small forward would be the last one Emac I would sort of extend myself to. I have some of like Kamara, Keldon Johnson, Champagny, but like Eason and Herter are my big stands at small forward besides Brandon Miller.
Yeah, and Herter's actually been getting okay rebounds. I mean, a tough matchup last night against Orlando, so this one should feel a little bit better tonight for Chicago. All right, power forwards. And guys, then we're going to circle back onto FanDuel, and then we'll build out some lineups here so you guys can have some fun chasing that down or watching me chase it down here. Kelly Olynyk, our punt du jour. You ready for a KO? You ready for the knockout? What's going on here? What are your thoughts on Olynyk? Is this flat min price? Where's our minutes? 18.7 minutes here. Intriguing.
Yeah, the tough part with him is, he's been so in and out of the rotation, and he played 11 minutes on the 31st, 20 minutes last time out, which was yesterday, and I don't believe he's played in a back-to-back this year, so that alone gives me a little bit of concern. But, he played 20 minutes yesterday. When he's out there, he's a good contributor. He put up 10, 5, and 3 yesterday, rebounds and assists. I mean, the second two stats there, along with a steal and a block. If he's going to get 20 minutes, he's great. He is coming up a lot for me now. In the minutes update that Stochastic just gave, but I'm not entirely sold. He has to be in the rotation. Like they don't have to play him. And again, no back-to-backs that I could tell this year. I'm trying to scroll back more, but really I'm not seeing a single one. He's 3K, so he's your only value really, but it feels like we're kind of forcing the value here for a guy that maybe, I don't know if we're guaranteed to get 15 minutes, let alone him playing.
Yeah. Oh, that harkens back to who was it? We had that game where everybody was all fired up for somebody. This is like in the first month of the season, then they didn't even play. In a situation like this, I don't think it was Olynyk, or could it have been Olynyk? If I'm getting visions of God, not Mo Bamba. Who's the other old guy they keep bringing back? Center, played forever. Yeah, I'm too old, but I think they had him for the Spurs. Chat will get me right there. But yeah, tough scene. Let's hit centers over here. Oops, let me get the filters corrected.
I think you might be thinking of Olynyk in that spot because there was a day where I think he was projected to start, then he didn't start, and I think didn't play.
Yeah, it may actually have been Olynyk, but I'm chat set me straight. They signed the guy that they always sign on a 10-day contract. Help me out. Bismack Biyombo. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Then that was the day where, I remember it now. Bismack ended up starting, and I think he played like 14 or 15 minutes. And then Olynyk, may not have played in the whole first half, and then he played like 11 minutes or something and ended up with like 4 fantasy points or something. Like for all intents and purposes, neither one really played. It sucked.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I worry about when I see myself getting him a good amount. Like I might actually, I've been really just kind of letting the Sims do whatever, and it's been working well for me lately in terms of just letting it take my exposures based off the projections and where the ownership is. If the field's going to be at 36% Olynyk, I don't want to be at like 63%. Like I was getting him a lot. It spooks me a little bit too much.
All right. Shout out. Not in the AM, bro. Oh, I have not seen you in a while. He wins my heart and mind by saying David Robinson there. So he is an old San Antonio center that met those parameters. Chad asking about Klingon. We've got Joel Embiid at an adequate price point. Though a little bit tougher with Robinson in there. The thing with Embiid is he's never going to be Joel Embiid again. He's not even close to his MVP form. He's barely even close to his all-star form on his best days. He's turned into kind of a mid-range jump shooter, rebounder, still gets a couple blocks here and there because he's just that good and that quick with his hands. But his days of, oh my God, I can't believe he did that, or he pump faked that guy on the 3-point range and then did a 2-hand reverse dunk, those days are gone. But 2 things. He is the all-time leader in free throws per game right now for the NBA for his career. I believe it's like 8.3 made. That's huge. That gives him a good baseline. He's still getting foul calls, which is important. He's drawing the fouls. It all comes down to efficiency. And we did see him play mid-ish 30 minutes, which seems to be what we'll probably get now. But you need everything to go well for him to get that 50-55 fantasy points. I don't feel like this is the slate tonight. There's enough other things going on, even though it is 5 games and that's something we'd start to talk about with him. There are just enough other options tonight. I'm not that worried about it. But you kind of think about him in that 79 to 8,600 range. If we get a little desperate, we're not desperate for value or other options tonight.
Yeah, I think with Embiid, I haven't really been there a ton this year. I mean, got him the last slate where he had 60 fantasy points. That was fine. But I think in general for me, the price tag, not really all the way where I think his current performance is when you sort of give him the respect of the longer term sample size. It's kind of like LeBron, same thing as well, where these guys, I think fundamentally not the exact same player they used to be. LeBron had a nice day yesterday, but he's not really rebounding as much this year overall. Embiid, kind of like Emac mentioned, he's not kind of, getting to the rim in the same way. He's not, dominating the post in the same way, just kind of shooting jump shots and all that. And he has foul hawking, how people feel about SGA. I feel about Embiid times a million.
Yeah.
Nobody goes, oh, he's just falling down over and over again. And that's a foul. But that said,
he's not limping on one leg like he was at various points. That's the at least this is probably the best version we're going to see from him going forward.
Yeah, and I think too, like, on slates where he has been, a little bit less owned, I'm willing to be there. Today, 16%. Yeah, I think a marquee spot against the Knicks, similar archetype of Towns goes. And if not, going against Mitchell Robinson, he could get him into foul trouble, I think. I would say easily, but he certainly can do that. I think Embiid's a nice tournament option if you're just matching the field on it. I didn't get there a lot just based off my projection. I'm lower than Stochastic is because he really hasn't played up to where he's been historically this year so far. But he's playing well enough, and I think the price tag at 8,600 on DraftKings, pretty reasonable. For FanDuel, where you have the single center as well. Could he be the highest scoring center on the slate? I think so. And if for DraftKings, like, I'm getting so much cling in today. People in the chat talk about him. I got him at 70% of my lineups before some of the updates I'm going to do in a moment. I'd rather take the upside on Embiid a little bit more than play Clingan so much, because Clingan might get me 40, Embiid might get you 60 again.
All right, Chad, I dropped that FanDuel link in the chat one more time. That's got 10 spots left. It's going to fill real quick. Remember, win that with a Stochastic avatar. Tweet at me. I put the Stochastic Hall of Fame in there. Tweet at me with that avatar visible, and I will get you your choice of a free week of Sims, NBA or NFL. There you go. Adding $50 to first place, making it all like a winner take all that pays out the top 20 people. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. I don't know why it takes so long to fill these when I do this. All right, let's run over here to FanDuel and see. We'll just sort by popularity here and see if there are any players that are different. So Steph Curry popping up. He is questionable, missed the last game, gets a great matchup against Utah that is actively looking to lose, even though I thought they were going to be a little better about that this year. How you feeling about Curry? Shaedon Sharpe popping up as well. That was a name we didn't talk about, nor was Dyson Daniels throwing that out there. He does the great barrier thief, gets 3 fantasy points per steal over on the blue side. What are you seeing there that's different from DK that you want to give a mention to?
For the FanDuel stuff, sorry, I'm just reloading things here as well. FanDuel wise, I mean, it does seem like Avdia is still going to be the elite play there. I think that, his ownership may be a little bit high relative to his optimal rate at point guard, but I still think he's got a massive ceiling at 9,300. So I'm cool with Avdia on both sides. He'll be a priority play for me on DraftKings. And for FanDuel, data-wise, I think looks right there. Trey Jones at 5,500. FanDuel, I think, a little bit under-owned at 37% ownership. Looks like his optimal rate's closer to 41. So I think he'd be a guy that would stand out more for me. Again, he's a fine play on DraftKings, but I think you'd want to get above the field on FanDuel. Dylan Harper, efficient ownership at 22%. That seems fine, but not a guy I have to prioritize quickly. I think I had like a little bit more than Stochastic's data, but still, 6,500 on FanDuel, not a bad play. For shooting guard, Trey Jones there works as well. Dylan Harper works there as well. But really flat, it looks like, on FanDuel in terms of the optimal rate, with Dylan Harper, McBride, Herter, Caleb Love working in. Shooting guard on FanDuel, I feel like, is one of the worst positions between both sites today. Stephon Castle, I'd still take the shot a little bit, but in Stochastic data, he's looked a little bit overowned. I'd still take the shot on Castle a little bit there.
Were you doing DFS back when FanDuel was it did not have multi-position eligibility?
I'm sure I was, but I've just never been a big FanDuel. I mean, like, that's not where my volume's been. So I don't know if I did. It wouldn't affect me.
Yeah, terrifying days, especially when they used to really get into chopping up their slates into like 2 games and 3 games. It was just a mess over there. But they to their credit, they are sort of trying these days.
They got an Emac for effort.
Indeed they do. Emac, a computer everybody should have. All right, just moving some lineups around so I can get my upload file ready here for FanDuel. I'm going to do that first on stage here. I'm building out 150 for FanDuel, but I know you guys really, really want to see DraftKings. So before we get more news or other things coming in, let me take care of that here. So I am going with the build 5,000. I am playing in the $3 and below contest. So I'm putting it just between marquee and low stakes. and I'm going to generate my lineups here. I'm okay with not having the most up-to-date information here because we are on a show, and I don't think I'll get too much of these first games. The other thing we were seeing is on FanDuel, we're seeing the Golden State guys kind of start to feather in here. Even though Butler is questionable and Curry is questionable, it kind of felt like they were taking the schedule loss last night against OKC in the attempts to win this one. Just looking long-term there. That was my thought. Yes, I will absolutely do DK because I'm playing over there as well, but we'll put that up. Give Chris here a little chance to get his things in order and refresh things. So we'll do it.
I think we're going to need an update too, because as the chat pointed out, Mitchell Robinson starting for the Knicks. Towns is in, but starters Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Towns, and Mitchell Robinson. So it's going to make Towns look a little bit worse. I think it's really going to make McBride, I presume, look a little bit worse as well. And Sixers, Embiid's in, but starters there, as expected, Maxey, Edgecombe, George, Barlow, Embiid. But Mitchell Robinson starting, definitely, I'd say a little bit of a change.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, I'm just going to let it ride here. That will be my differentiation because I know everybody will scream and yell if I do this when we're trying to do DraftKings. So a lot of the Spurs guys, a lot of Chicago, some Atlanta there. I want to make sure I get Abdia 10% above the field. Let's go a little bit more. Let's leave ourselves a little room to maneuver with Curry. Olynyk is going to be the wild card. We'll let that ride. Donovan Clingan, we'll give him another click. Jalen Johnson, well above the field, but I want more because I'm greedy. Let's cap Harper here at 40. We're going to put Castle at 50. And let's see what that changes. Get my Jalen Johnson love up there. Now, half my center position is going to be going to Clingan here. Does that mean I'm missing out on anything? Missing out on a little Jalen Smith. Now, we didn't really throw his name out there. Always foul issues, always in-game injury issues with the boo-boo, but he can block some shots. He's an okay rebounder. He's an okay scorer. Price is ticking up, though, as he has been getting more minutes. Coming in around the field on Vooch, a little under on Embiid. I'm okay with all that. I'm going to give another click there to Robinson just because, I don't like Neemias Queta. All right, we're going to go with that. And I will export these, load them, and then we'll talk DraftKings as we get the update because I know the sun rises and sets with DraftKings for everybody.
I think we also skipped power forward in the positional stuff too. I think we talked to Olynyk, but that was the only part of it. So that might be part of why we didn't.
Perfect. Let's
get the chance
slide back while we're waiting for the updates. And let's look at power forward. We can focus on DK. We got the Jalen Johnson. We hit that. That's why. You're right. Jalen Smith. All right. Hit it. Smith, Buzelis, Scotty Barnes. Carry us there for just a sec.
Yeah, so for power forward, I think Jalen Johnson, both sites going to be your marquee play. On FanDuel, he seems really underowned. 56% optimal rate, only 46% ownership. He projects really well for me on DraftKings. Before the show, I was getting him in about 2/3 of my lineups. The field's at 48% on DK. So he's one of those guys. Again, every slate, I get him. I think when you have Porzingis and Trae Young out, there's really no inhibitors to him having that 70-point ceiling we saw at one point. 3 out of 5 games or whatever it was, when he put up 50 in the spots, he didn't go 70. I think that's sort of what you get from Jalen Johnson when you have the Hawks being a little bit more shorthanded. So power forward, he looks good. And again, really underowned on FanDuel, I think. Olynyk has a really high optimal rate with that $3K minimum salary on DraftKings, cheap on FanDuel as well. Really, I question that a little bit more because I'm just not sure that he's guaranteed to play. To me, I'm going to be really careful about my exposure. Going to try to be flat with the field on Olynyk. But he's coming up now pretty meaningfully on both sites, it looks like. Buzelis is the one that I'm a little bit higher on. I got him in half my lineups at 5,400. He's been producing, again, much like all the other Bulls, with Giddey and Kobe Whiteoff producing about 1 fantasy point per minute, a little bit more than that. We've seen him have the bigger ceiling and the more usage I think that's available. He's one of those guys, Buzelis, that I think can really put the upside more. And frankly, he's been better than Vucevic has with Giddey and Kobe White off the court. He's put up 1.1 fan sports minute compared to 1.05 for Vooch. So Buzelis, I think one of those guys that, to me, both sites looks good. FanDuel a little bit underowned as well. 32% ownership, but a 36% optimal rate. Tari Eason, we talked about. Scotty Barnes, I think the upside always there. And Tajon Salon, people have been talking about who's starting at center for Charlotte. It was PJ Hall last game. Tajon Salon played more minutes in that game. Those guys both could be splitting minutes and not playing all 48, at center. It's sort of tough to love either. Tajon Salon at power forward. FanDuel looks good. DraftKings, I think, playable as well. Not as good as the other players we've talked about, but he's about 11% out rate on FanDuel. That's okay. Salon out. Yeah. Well, okay. So more PJ Hall, I guess, and more Bridges 5, I guess.
All right. Yep. Left ankle soreness, confirming that. So Salon is out.
It really, that was uncanny. Salon out as I said it. Did I will that to happen? I don't know. PJ Hall, I think, has to play more now. I mean, they're willing to not go to him at center, but they need a big body out there. They got nobody else at this point.
Yeah, we're into the Saturday foolishness. It just took a little bit longer tonight, Chris. Just a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think Hall's nice value. I mean, he played 19 minutes with Tajon Salon available yesterday. Don't see why he can't get to 25, if not 30.
For those playing football, don't forget it's an 8:00 kickoff, and Ricky Pearsall inactive. So for those of you that are into those things, Kendrick Bourne has been the biggest beneficiary of Ricky Pearsall being out, almost a direct corollary. Yes, it was great while Mac Jones, former teammates and the Patriots, was in there, but Purdy is playing at close to an MVP level at this point, sort of making the whole Mac Jones thing a little bit irrelevant there. Is Mamu not starting? I don't think I saw Toronto. Oh, Colin Murray-Boyles is starting.
It's interesting.
For what I'm looking at, that's 7 minutes old. So that would be a no. Mamu is not starting. He doesn't always start, interestingly enough. But this would not take me away from Mamu at all.
I don't know. I think Murray-Boyles was projected to play 21 minutes. Mamu was also at 21. So I'm not sure if that's going to make Murray-Boyles' minutes come up. But if it does come up a little bit, if he gets to, let's say, 24, 25 in the projection, I think at 3,900 in power forward center, I think Murray-Boyles, more interesting than he was, is a 4% play.
4%. Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I'm sorry, that I should reframe that. It does not take me off Boyles, but I'm not changing my thoughts on either one. I did not frame that very well. My apologies. All right, we just got the projections, which means we're about 2 minutes away from the ownership coming in.
It's going to need another update because Salon is still in it. And yeah. And Murray-Boyles, no, he's a starter. And then, so
all right. Well, hey, in the meantime, check me out over here on, and everybody else over on Tails. You can sort for experts here. I'm just buying time check because we're going to go straight up through to the end with no more ads. But we can see, Lindy's VIP pick. Oh, we're going to share that. Look at that. First touchdown score, George Kittle, plus 900. That just is hot off the press. I'm not going to show you any more premium stuff, but Lindy does plenty of free stuff up here. Plus, Greg's stuff is all free. My stuff is all free. There's plenty of good stuff to check out. I've got the full breakdown here, full player pool ranking for Saturday Night Football. Comments for each player. That kicks off at 8. So check that out. That is Stochastic, or Tails, friends with Stochastic.
Also, Stochastic minutes update too. Murray-Boyles got to 24.3 minutes. So projection 21.1 for Stochastic. I'd have him at 22.5. I think Murray-Boyles playable value now. Just getting that start. He's going to get about 20% ownership now in the data.
All right. If anybody feels the need to punish me, I still got some team free money. That's Emac in the head-to-head lobbies for the showdown. Saturday Night Football, username Emac, just $1, but pride is priceless, and then you get to make fun of me. That's got to be worth a lot, Spags.
Of course. It's, you could hold things over Emac. That's what you want to do, whether it's photos of him in compromising positions or DFS success, both those equally.
Good time. I'm glad I didn't grow up. I'm glad we only had like Polaroids when I grew up.
Yeah. And I think we know where Emac's incriminating photos are now. If you go to his home and you send the folder marked Polaroids, that's where you're going to find
I had some very interesting Halloween costumes. They were pretty good. The one I liked the best, I was a trailer park woman. 5 o'clock shadow, blue eyeshadow, rouge, walked around with the National Enquirer under my arm, Marlboro Light between the old lips there. That fuzzy slippers, wearing a muumuu. It was awesome. It was awesome. That one I'm not ashamed of. Big Papa the Showstopper, the porn star with an actual appendage, fashioned out of nylons and socks. Yeah, that's probably good that one doesn't exist.
No, you didn't need the fake one, Emac. We all know it.
Dirk Diggler, I am not. 2 inches of bald thunder, perhaps. We will see.
You went from Polaroids to hemorrhoids.
Oh yes, good times.
Not your title of your autobiography though. That would.
I may have said some things I can't unsay at this point. But I'm gonna kick off my Sims here. Last ownership update. Salon's probably still gonna be in here, right?
Yeah, Salon's still in the data for right now.
So yeah, you know what? It's for the show. We got this. Build out 5,000. I'll show you what you guys can do if you run into that. So we generate the lineups. The next screen, I believe it is the next screen, is going to give me the ability to adjust what the player pool or the contest pool is with regards to player rostership. And then the screen after that will allow me to change projections, and then I'll simulate everything. So when you change stuff here, you want to be careful when you change things on these screens, because when you do, what that's really doing is messing up the entire basis of the Sims. So here we usually just let this stuff ride, because you want to change things when you get to the ranking of your teams, and that's what we do via the ROI boost, the player caps, etc. So if you want more of somebody, don't change it here unless it's a really low owned person that they're just not going to be in the player pool, and you're not going to find good lineups that you want. Like sometimes Eric Lindquist's nukes of the night are only going to come in 2%, and you're just not going to find the lineups you want. So those guys you can boost in this fashion, but just know you're now out on an island when you do that. So here we can just change him to, we'll just put him at 1 fantasy point.
I know you said that. Whenever you play anything that Eric Lindquist recommends, you're just on an island and
you're on an island, and you know what? Then the whole cruise ship with nothing but ladies shows up, or guys if you're a girl, or guys if that's what you're into. The Swedish bikini teams out there, Coors Light Party Ball. It's just a good time. The nuke of the nights, when those hit, they're very impressive.
It's a party. It is a party.
Who is my nuke of the night? I don't have a nuke of the night. I don't have anybody. Trey Jones. There you go. Not very exciting. Do you have a nuke?
I need an update for everything, because I still want to see where I land with PJ Hall for Salon being out. But I think Buzelis would be mine. He's going to be owned a decent amount, 31% for the field, but I am getting appreciably above it, and I think he is Trey Jones I'm with too. I like the Bulls again today. I feel like few of them really disappointed, I think, relative to the data yesterday. I think today, hopefully they get back on track.
So here's the good one. So I don't have any PJ Hall because of when I did my little thing, but I can ROI boost the heck out of him. I can see he's in 23% of the pool that I've generated. So if I put him at 40%, look, I got him at 10%. So put him in like that for placeholders to see what it does with everything else. And then I'll go through and fix this in the first phase of lineup swaps. But I want to make sure I get everything I have. Who in the early game is going to be super important to me? Jalen Johnson. Really, Jalen Johnson is it. I'm not that worried about Embiid. Don't really care about the Knicks, and can live without Toronto. So let's adjust that. I will download this, and then we will do another one here so you guys can see what the change really is. Did the change come through? Yeah. Nope. we'll get that when it does.
You're making me sweat the salon one. I just want to see PJ Hall's gosh darn numbers, so I can know how much I have to play of them.
So talk through that process. Let's say he comes in at 25%. Where do you want to be?
I mean, I think that I just need to see what he looks like with Salon off, and we haven't gotten that minutes thing in. So I have to, I'm just giving Salon 0 in my data to see if I, which is not a perfect science for me. I mean, I think PJ Hall is going to be playable. I mean, I was already getting him in 20% of lineup.
The hard looking at it. We don't have ownership, but we got him in for 26 minutes, 24.6 fantasy points. So about 0.87, 0.9 fantasy points per minute there.
Yeah, I think that's your best value on the slate. I'm just trying to pull the minutes in here so I can see this correctly. Yeah, PJ Hall, I would have closer to 28. It looks like. So 25 for Stochastic. If you want to go with my crazier, a little more aggressive projection for him based on how well he's played this year in particular. He's going to look good. I mean, Brandon Miller definitely looking better too. Knipple looking better. There's a lot of stats to go around now from having just no centers left besides PJ Hall. Charlotte, really compelling team. It was a nice matchup for Chicago anyway. I feel like the only ones I'm not going to get to anyway, LaMelo, Bridges, they still look a little bit overpriced, I think, for what the projection is.
All right. Who's your favorite point guard?
Mine is Denny.
Is it Denny? Yeah, I think so. Gotta be Avdia. What do you think about Fox? Did we even say his name?
I think he's a little bit expensive for where it is overall. But I think for Fox, there's still upside there. Like he and Castle, I'd like Castle at his price tag now being slightly cheaper. But I think they both are pretty good producers for having Wemby off, for having a sell off. Fox has been about 1.3. Fan Sports have been at while shooting well. Castle's been at about 1.2 while shooting poorly, but I would say you're just going to expect him to shoot better at some point. I think for how both of the guards look, they both seem under-owned to me, but I'm definitely getting a little bit more Castle. I'm just getting Fox with the field.
Fair enough. Another guy we didn't mention is OG Anunoby. Ambivalent.
Yeah, I mean, now that we have Mitchell Robinson starting, I don't think that looks good for anybody, really. Yeah, I mean, Anunoby, to me, just the guy on the slate, and I don't think there's anything advantageous to where he is, with who's available today.
All right, now we got everything. So where did we end up with Hall? So Hall sitting, 56% ownership. That's a humdinger.
Yeah, that came up. He's worth it, I think. I don't think he's not Day'Ron Sharp yesterday, which people were like, I called him the best DFS play of the year, and people poo-pooed it a little bit. Frankly, he had a shitty run out yesterday. He didn't even play the fourth quarter stint where he didn't get to close because they felt like they needed 3-point shooting out there, and then they just gave up. But for like Sharp, played really well. PJ Hall's not that, but for this slate, he's your Day'Ron Sharp. Like, he's the best value you got. He's a big man. They have a ton of vacancy there that he has to play some amount of minutes. Again, he's not gonna play all 48, but he now is a very viable play, and I had him as like an okay play before.
Yep. So I'm redoing mine real quick here. I'm not going to get super fussy, but that is too much of a change for me to go in without baselining that, and I hope this takes away some of my Olenek until we get any more news from that game. We have 6 minutes until tip-off here. Just when we thought it was safe to go back in the pool, we learned it most certainly was not. Let's see what happens here. So PJ Hall at 98%. That feels a little aggressive. Oh, it's because I got a 55%. Well, I'm going to clear all my boosts here. That just feels silly. Oh, yeah, that's good. Now I have him at a more sedate 58%. Jesus Christ, still getting a ton of Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, the Kelly Olynyk, I have an exposure cap on him, and I'm going to keep him, I think, at 33 or so. I think especially with Hall now, I'm cool just riding with that value and not sweating whether Olynyk's going to play or not off the bench.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going 30. I can't tonight because I got NFL going on. I'm playing two sides. Okay, there we go. So
let's make you earn it on a Saturday.
Yeah, indeed they do. Indeed they do. So I'm just going to run that back out there. But you can see, look how quickly these sims are able to update and change for us. This is one of the best, if not the best tool out there. I know there are competitors that are solid, but they're not live up on Through Lock, giving you out the goods and the obscure Saturday night slates. Saturday nights are my favorite.
They don't get the joy as a PJ Hall. I mean, like I was looking for value on the slate.
They do while they're sipping a tasty beverage with the NFL on in the background.
Yeah, they could enjoy their NFL, the no fun league here at the no balls association. I guess we have to insult ourselves here.
Let's see how quickly I can get. And I know the screen disappeared. I want to see how quickly I can get FanDuel.
You got to hide your exposure. You're hoarding all the PJ Hall for yourself.
Oh, I would never do that. So,
Emac zeroing him out, and you guys can't see it. He's doing the thing that all us touts do, where we go, "This PJ Hall looking like a good play," and then you just play none of them.
There were once upon a time there were people that did that before there were database trackers and all sorts of things. This was way back in the infancy.
That's crazy. I can't imagine that because like my brain wouldn't function if I had to lie about the people I liked on every slate. Like it's hard enough to say the guys I like, but then I have to go like, oh, actually, no, I'm saying I don't like this guy, and I have to like do the work. I would be I'd be awful at it.
Yeah, and the gymnastics people would go through when they'd get called out. It's like, come on, everything leaves a digital footprint at some point. You're looking at a bunch of enterprising people with time on their hands that are playing for money. Of course, they're going to be looking into this. So
I gotta say, I have a PJ Hall disagreement with the stochastic sim. I'm getting Hall in 90% of my lineups with my projection, which is, a little bit closer to 28, which I admit is probably a little bit high. Stochastic definitely better at giving you that, market, derived projection. But stochastic at a 24.6 projection in the sim I ran over here with just stochastic data, only 47% exposure, which he's still in half your lineups, but you're getting under the field. So my data's viewing Hall as like this jam him in play. Stochastic viewing him as a get some, but don't go crazy play. So that's tough. I'm going to take the L on this one probably.
Well, this is where we still have these chances to make these kinds of adjustments. Which
but if I get 90%, then it's just like that's off my data. I just let it ride.
Do you? Oh, nice.
That's the fun of it. Like that's why I make my own projections. Like I want that ride. But I see when I see stuff like that where it's like, oh, the stochastic sim is going. Play Olynyk, don't play PJ Hall as much. It's a little scary, a little scary town.
Just a touch. Let me get back to where I wanted on some of these. Where's my guy, Jalen?
Olynyk I got at 41 too, which I don't love, but
all right, there's my FanDuel redo. So always fun. Upload that. Thank you, chat, for your patience, but I hate lighting a couple $100 on fire if I have a chance to at least make it interesting. Now, of course, I closed out my FanDuel tab, so I gotta get this back so I can upload the damn thing. That's the one. Oh, FanDuel, you're gonna kill me. You're just gonna kill me. I'm melting.
All right, guys, will Emac get it in, guys?
I'm melting. Let's see. 200 lineups in. 398 in. Yes. Victory. Oh, I feel alive now. I feel like everybody, you need to hit that like button because we're coming at you tomorrow, 9:15 with all the NFL goods. It's going to be fun. You're going to get Greg Ehrenberg. It's just going to be an unmitigated disaster tomorrow. Enjoyed the cash game challenge, playing one lineup. That's my strategy. But I'm going to play the showdowns on any of the games that have meaning on the morning and afternoon slates because we have the tools for that. And a lot of people are not really going to be focused on that tomorrow. So in the low dollar contest, you do have a little bit of an advantage because a lot of the big fish take this week off, which makes sense. Yeah, you can get a little scratch in there, which is helpful. and key. Follow us over on Tails. Follow any of us on Tails, but hey, especially follow your old pal here, because that's where you're going to get all the articles for NBA and NFL that I was doing on the regular sites. Those are going to be on Tails now. So I'm going to drop that link into the chat. And Chris, tell us where we can find you for those of us not in the know.
Yeah, if you want to find some of my Week 18 takes, which unfortunately, they're already kind of outdated because of all the guys that got ruled out between yesterday and today, check out @SplashPlayPod on YouTube. I do my video there where I go through stochastic data, compare it to stuff around the industry as well, which I think is a helpful look at some of the lineups where they're coming from for the NFL. But check it out. And of course, tomorrow I will be on the Live Before Lock show with our good friend Eric Lindquist. I'll be doing the usual thing there. And look, Week 18, I say all the people that are playing cash games, and I love my good friend Pete Overzet. But cowards. It's still, the money still spends if you get it right. Like, so what? You have to play Ray Davis. You have to play Sal Cannella because all the tight ends are out for Cleveland. Don't be scared. Embrace it. That's where the fun is, right? We want to let's do some gambling. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow.
Well, with that, if you're into skill games, you can follow me on Twitter @Emac DFS, and of course, it is Stochastic on X. With that, gamers, good luck.